My name is Claire Merritt. I'm 41 years old. And 3 weeks ago, I sat at a long dinner table surrounded by my husband's entire family, while his sister stood up, raised her glass, and told 40 people that she had planned every detail of the most beautiful anniversary party they had ever seen. She had not planned a single thing. I set down my fork, folded my napkin, and smiled, because I already knew what was coming. Before I tell you what happened at 9:15 that night, please take a moment to like and subscribe, and drop a comment telling me where you're watching from. The hardest part of this story is still ahead. Let me take you back 6 weeks. A Tuesday evening. My kitchen. The kind of quiet that only happens after the kids are in bed, and the house finally exhales. My phone buzzed. My mother-in-law, Patricia. Claire's sweetheart. I hate to ask. She didn't hate to ask. Patricia never hated to ask. She had a specific tone she used, soft, apologetic, already retreating. That meant the ask was already decided. It's the anniversary. 40 years. Richard and I wanted something small, but the family's grown so much. Vanessa said she'd handle everything, but you know how she is with details. I was wondering. I knew exactly how Vanessa was with details. She was wonderful with announcements. She was not wonderful with details. I'll take care of it, Patricia. A pause. Then quietly. Oh, Claire. You're an angel. We hung up. I sat at my kitchen table for a moment, listening to the refrigerator hum. My husband Daniel walked in from the living room, one look at my face and said, Vanessa dropped it again, didn't she? She never picked it up, I said. He sat down across from me. He didn't try to fix it. That was the thing about Daniel. He knew the difference between when I needed solutions and when I needed someone to just sit in the same room while I figured it out myself. One party, I said. That's all. One party. He nodded. Whatever you decide, I'm with you. I opened my laptop and started searching for venues. Vanessa called the next night. Her voice had that warm, rushing energy she used when she wanted something to feel collaborative. Claire. Mom told me you're jumping in. You're literally the best. I was so swamped, or I totally would have had it handled by now. It's fine, Vanessa. Okay, so I was thinking, can we do something really elegant? Like somewhere people will talk about? Mom and Dad deserve something memorable. I agree. Amazing. And budget-wise, just split it, right? You and me. Sure. Perfect. I'll Venmo you. She never Venmo'd me. I didn't follow up. I already knew. I found the venue on a Thursday afternoon. A restored estate property 40 minutes outside the city, original stone walls, a private dining wing that seated 50, a garden terrace for cocktail hour. The kind of place that made people feel, for one evening, that their lives had always been this gracious. I met with the event's coordinator, a woman named Greta, who had the calm efficiency of someone who had seen every version of family drama and remained personally unmoved by all of it. We'll need the deposit within 7 days to hold the date, she said. Full balance due night of event. I'll put it on my card, I said. She paused. Just slightly. The full balance. The full balance. I signed the contract. My name. My card. My number for any changes. As I walked back to my car, I thought about Patricia's voice on the phone. I hate to ask. I thought about the 40 years she had spent holding that family together with both hands. The Christmases she hosted when nobody offered. The grandchildren she drove to appointments when nobody had time. The way she always said don't worry about it right before she worried about it alone. The deposit was the easiest thing I had spent money on in years. 3 days before the party, my sister-in-law called to discuss what she called the vision. I'm thinking Champagne Tower, Vanessa said. And I want to say a few words. I've been writing something. The venue has a champagne service, I said. Already included. Oh, perfect, I love that I thought of that. I did not correct her. And obviously we'll make sure everyone knows this was a family effort, she added. You and me. Partners. Of course, I said. My daughter Lily was sitting at the kitchen table doing homework. She looked up at me with the particular intuition children develop when they have heard too many of these phone calls. Aunt Vanessa again? Is she going to take credit for the party? 9 years old. Seen everything. Eat your dinner, baby, I said. The night of the party. The estate was exactly as it had looked in the photos, which meant it was even more beautiful in person. The stone walls caught the evening light in amber and gold. The tables were set with cream linen and late-season dahlias, deep burgundy and rust, exactly what I had shown the florist from my phone. Patricia walked in at 6:45 and stopped in the doorway. Her hand went to her mouth. She turned to her husband Richard. He put his arm around her. I watched his face do something quiet and private. Then she turned to me. Claire. She held me for a long moment. Into my shoulder very softly. This is too much. This is so much. Thank you. 40 years deserves too much, I said. She pulled back, eyes shining. Tell me what I can do. Nothing. Just enjoy it. She smiled. She straightened her dress. She walked into her own party. Vanessa arrived 12 minutes later in a fitted silver dress with her husband Marcus in tow. She swept into the room, arms wide, accepting hugs from cousins before she'd taken off her coat. Can you believe this place? She said to a group near the bar. I have been obsessing over this venue for weeks. Daniel, beside me, reached for my hand under the table. I let him hold it. I did not say a word. Dinner was everything I had asked for. 3 courses. The fish was perfect. The speeches from Richard's old colleagues were long and sincere. Patricia laughed at stories she had heard 30 times and looked genuinely surprised each time. Then Vanessa stood up. She tapped her champagne flute with a spoon. The room went quiet. I just want to say a few words, she began. Because Mom and Dad, you deserve to know how much thought went into tonight. She paused for effect. I have been planning this for months. The venue, the menu, the flowers, all of it. Because you raised me to believe that the people you love deserve your very best. And tonight is my very best. For you. Her voice broke slightly at the end. Rehearsed or real, I couldn't tell anymore. The room raised their glasses. To Mom and Dad. 40 guests drank champagne in a room I had found, booked, and paid for, to celebrate an anniversary dinner I had designed, coordinated, and funded. Vanessa sat down to applause. Patricia dabbed her eyes. I drank my water. Daniel squeezed my hand once tight. 1 more hour, he murmured. I nodded. I made it 50 minutes. It wasn't the toast that broke it. I had prepared for the toast. It was Patricia. She found me near the dessert table at 9 o'clock, her eyes still glassy from the champagne and the speeches. She pulled me into a hug, the way she had when I'd first joined this family 14 years ago. Full, warm, unhesitating. I need you to know, she whispered, that Vanessa has really come into her own. She worked so hard for tonight. I hope you two will be even closer after this. I stayed still. I did not pull away. I'm glad you had a wonderful evening, Patricia, I said. She squeezed my hands and moved on to her next guest. I stood at the dessert table for exactly 30 seconds. Then I found Daniel. I need to make a call, I said. Can you get Lily's coat? He looked at me. Now. He didn't ask why. That was the thing about Daniel. I called Greta from the parking lot. She picked up on the second ring. Mrs. Merritt. Greta. I need to make a change to the payment. A pause. Of course. What would you like to do? The card I have on file. I'd like to remove the authorization for the balance. Understood. And the balance should be presented to? Vanessa Harlow. She's at the main table. She's in the silver dress. You can't miss her. Silence. Then, professionally. We'll approach the table at 9:30, after the cake service. Thank you, Greta. I hung up. Daniel was standing by the car with Lily already buckled in the back seat, asleep against the door the way children fall asleep. Completely, without warning, without apology. He handed me my coat. You good? I'm good. He didn't ask what I'd done. He trusted I'd done the right thing. We pulled out of the gravel drive at 9:08. In the rearview mirror, the estate lights disappeared behind the tree line. I let them go. I heard what happened next from 3 different people. At 9:31, Greta walked to the main table carrying a leather billing folio. She set it down in front of Vanessa. Ms. Harlow, the balance for this evening. Mrs. Merritt has released her card authorization. The remaining balance is yours. Vanessa stared at the folio. I'm sorry, what? The venue was booked in Mrs. Claire Merritt's name. She has authorized us to transfer the remaining balance to you. The table stopped breathing. Marcus leaned over to look at the folio. Vanessa, what is this? I don't, this is a mistake. Ms. Harlow, I have the signed contract here if you'd like to review it. Vanessa's face had gone from confusion to something harder to describe. Richard, at the head of the table, said nothing. Patricia, beside him, said nothing. Okay. I poured her more tea. She stayed for 2 hours. For weeks after the party, Vanessa called. I let it ring. She left a voicemail. She said she'd been doing a lot of thinking. She said she knew she had overstepped. She said she hoped we could move past it. Overstepped. 14 years of standing in rooms while she collected credit for the warmth I put in them. Described as overstepped. I didn't call back. Not yet. Maybe someday. But not because I owed her the conversation. Because I would decide when I was ready for it. That was the difference. Here is what I want you to take from this. There is a version of love that teaches us that being needed is the same as being valued. It is not. And there is a version of family that teaches us that keeping the peace is the same as being at peace. It is not. The night I called Greta from the parking lot, I was not performing revenge. I was not trying to humiliate anyone. I was simply deciding that the story being told about that evening would not be allowed to continue uncorrected. I had paid for the table. I had built the room. I had made it beautiful. What I would not do, what I am not willing to do anymore, is disappear from my own work, so that someone else can stand inside it and call it theirs. You are allowed to take up space in your own life. Even when it's uncomfortable. Even when it makes people cry. Even when it costs something. Especially then. If this story reached you, drop one word in the comments. Stayed, if you're still in it, with new lines drawn. Left, if you had to step all the way out. There is no wrong answer. Subscribe and I'll see you Sunday.